Okay, I have my coffee. I love this mug, but like, I don't necessarily appreciate the person who gave it to me, so it's a conflict. Anyway, season 4, episode 1, welcome to the pods. Okay, this isn't gonna be a complete and total recap because I kind of feel like in the beginning we're a little scattered, right? And so I am actually coming here to make a video specifically about 2 people, and so like 2 possible couples. However, one of them I can see a problem. Now, I've only watched episode 1. I watched it last night and I was like, oh my God, I am inspired to make a video. Not like, I don't know. I watched season 2 and 3 and there were people I had feelings about, like had comments I wanted to make, but I certainly didn't, I don't know. I wasn't in a place, life wasn't in a place. I am now, I guess, and I'm feeling very inspired. And the person who made me want to press record is Brett. I love him. He's magic. Brett and Tiffany have that Lauren and Cameron thing. The thing that was like, this is good, right? And I feel like that couple for me, like that magic has been missing from season 2 and 3. Not that they weren't fine in their own like perspective seasons, but I didn't feel it. And actually there's some people back there, and if we get back into a flow and videos actually start happening, I will gladly go back and talk about the couples here and there that I want to talk about. But really, I enjoy doing this as it unfolds. I know that there's like 4 or 5 episodes out right now. Again, Amber and I were watching some other shows, and so we just got to like starting, like we wrapped up a couple of other things so that we could like get to this without feeling overwhelmed. So, Brett, magic man, okay? I will tell you, and if you don't know, you might know, I don't know, but like I lost my brother in 2016. He died, and like obviously he's not lost, but anyway, I don't know if I've actually processed that, but I've processed it to the best of my abilities. And I feel like almost like that gets me sometimes, but there's a weird like detachment around it so that you can just live your life. Like there's a removed sense so that I can get through the day. Because if I don't have that removed sense, then like, and so I'm actually in a grief support group, and it's weird because I am like almost, like 6-7 years from that point. And I remember like when I was really early and just completely devastated, people who were 5 years out kind of talking to me, and I guess that's who I am now, being like, it will be okay, it will be different, but you can do this kind of thing. And there is a certain amount of detachment that you have to get through those conversations so that you can support the person who is broken immediately and not like trauma dump your brokenness onto them, right? And I will tell you that when Brett talked about his brother, I like something about when he started the conversation, I was like, his brother died. Like it hit me. I really like bawled my eyes out. And I think it's because he's so authentic and kind and just so good. I adore him. And I think that Tiffany is a great girl. And what I really liked about Tiffany was that she said in this first episode, because Brett didn't come up like a traditional route of like education to his like career, that she probably would have written him off. And what is so beautiful, and I feel like very, very telling about the future of this couple, is that by the end of that episode, y'all, like I can't, are you ready? Like, okay, by the end of that episode, she was like, I want to be a better person so that I can be what he deserves. And I think that it shows so much emotional intellect to be able to say like, I would have not thought he deserved me. And now I realize that I want to rise up and be what he deserves. And I think that that's beautiful. And I think that makes her the person he deserves. Like the desire to be the best so that you can be the best for your partner is so beautiful. And I think that in itself shows you the kind of person that Tiffany is. Now, at the end of this episode, I do want to bring up also, during this couple, there was a part where Brett was in the man apartment pod area, and he seemed to be like he has that fear of loss that he kind of lives with. And I think that it was Marshall. I'm not sure if they told us, so let me just tell you, I was watching on a screen very small on the other side of the room. So I don't remember if they told us who he was talking to, but I have the vague concept that it was Marshall he was speaking with, who was giving out some sage, you can't live in the fear, you gotta let yourself move on, like kind of brotherly pep talk. And I said to Amber, I love it. I love it. There's always a dude. I mean, like, there's, the girls do it too, but I guess because I am a female, I have seen it, experienced it, and been it before. So to see that man bonding and that masculine energy supporting each other was really good. And I love when we get to see the like brotherly good advice dude giving out the brotherly good advice. I love it. So anyway, if that was Marshall, which I'm fairly certain it was, I hope somebody picks him up. He seems sweet, and he's you know, kind, and he's got some good advice. But back to Brett and Tiffany. So just like to wrap this couple up for this, like they really kind of have that we've seen in episode 1, have no real, what's it called, like bumps or hiccups. There's no girl trying to steal him. There's none of that kind of stuff. But she kind of says, and I believe that the word like I think she says, I'm falling for you, but I'm like 95% positive she uses the word love, and it impacts him. And he is kind of like, oh my God, you know, I'm not really comfortable with that word. I want to get more comfortable using it. I see this with you. But he kind of takes they show it like he takes a longer way to get there and doesn't really say love, but he's really trying to open up and kind of like feel his feelings and express them. And Tiffany falls asleep. And the truth is, I think that Tiffany falls asleep because she's so comfortable, and her face looks so peaceful, and she just seems so happy and like content. And you can't be with the person, you're in the pods, but like to be in that room where she knows he's there, and they just had this conversation, and she kind of told him she loved him in a way. I think she's drifting in that like contentment, and he, I believe, takes it like, I took too long to get to the meat of what I was trying to say. So he's confused, upset, and in the final scene, he's saying like, I'm over it, I'm done. And I'm like, no, don't let this happen. The good news is I'm fairly certain that at this point in the dating, it gets a little hazy, you can't really tell, but like, I'm fairly certain they're not dating other people. So I'm really hoping that in episode 2, we don't see him like frustrated and talking to somebody else and like furthering a different relationship just because he feels burned. I really hope that they can work that out, because I think that this couple could be this season's Lauren and Cameron. So I say that saying something else. I think we might have 2 Lauren and Camerons. Guys, how did we go this long? We're in the 4th season. I feel like we had 2 where I don't know, I didn't really connect with any of the relationships. Not that it's about me, but I'm just saying, as a viewer, it's kind of about me. But like, I think we might have another one, and that is Kwame and Chelsea. Now, I love Kwame, he's amazing. And Chelsea took a minute to warm up on me. I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? But I like her, and I like them. And there's a subtle like energy and magic to this that I'm super excited about here in the first episode. Of course, in this relationship, we have, I believe her name is Micah. World's longest eye roll. Ready? Okay, we're not going for the records. Anyway, I believe her name is Micah, and she pulls some shit. Like, if you don't know, she's talking to Paul, who is from New Orleans. I'm not big on him. He's, I think the word is smarmy. Is the word smarmy? Could be. But Micah kind of does this thing where she hears Chelsea talking about her connection with Kwame, and then it's kind of like she goes in and she's like, like talking to somebody like that. I didn't realize you could grow a relationship. I didn't realize you could be so intent on me and then still grow a relationship with somebody else while she's talking to Paul the same way. So that's happening. And she kind of like almost twist him up to get him to say like, fine, I'll concentrate on you. And then she's like, well, there's this other person I'm talking to. And he's like, Kwame shows himself to be an amazing man. And he says, I'm not going to ask you to cut that off, because if I'm asking you to cut people out of your life now in our relationship, who am I asking you to cut off later? And that is such an intense and smart and amazing statement, right? That this man just made to a woman who twisted him up and kind of like twisted him into saying he would leave Chelsea alone. So he says that to her and she's like, thank you. And she goes to Paul and she basically does the same thing. Now, I don't care as much because I think Paul is smarmy. And I think that Amber, the girl he's talking to, is dodging a bullet if Micah F's that up, just saying. But I don't know if smarmy is the word. We're going to look that up later. But anyway, so Micah goes to him and kind of does the same thing. She's like, tell me, like, do you like me? Is it me? Tell me, kind of thing. And he says, yeah, let's do it. Like, right? Like, let's do it. Let's just make it you and me. So she's supposed to go back and tell Kwame that. Yay! Hopefully he'll be able to like be with Chelsea, because I think we have magic there. But I'm also thinking that Micah seems like the type of person from this show. Obviously, I don't know her. But I feel like she seems like the type of person who will break up with Kwame and then make sure all the girls know that she did the breaking up after she kind of tricked him into saying he might propose early. Anyway, that's maybe not trick, emotionally manipulated. There we go. So anyway, Paul is supposed to be going back and ending things with Amber, which, girl, it might suck right now, but you are dodging a bullet. Just watch the show. I'm sure it'll tell you. I'm sure you will watch the show and go, thank God. Or maybe not. Maybe at the reunion we'll find out that y'all hooked up or something. I don't know. Things are weird. So yeah, that's where we're at the end of episode uno. Is that the right number? I think so. I'm not fluent in Spanish, but uno. And finally, the last person I really want to pick up on and talk about in this particular video is Zach. So in the beginning of the show, they kind of tease that there's going to be somebody changing their mind. If you've been around the Bachelor franchise, that's not surprising. But anyway, I think that person is Zach. And he is between Irina, who is from Russia originally, and Bliss. And in these two girls, I think Bliss is lovely. I like Irina. It did take her backstory to get me to go, okay. I do not actually think, I think that Irina and Zach could be good bros. I don't know. When I see these two talking through the pods, I don't get that that's going to translate to great relationship energy. But you know what? I don't know, because I was surprised by Zach having like an emotional backstory. He kind of came off as like a goofball and I was about to say reject. That's not what I meant to say. What I was going to say was he came off as a goofball and kind of like a gross, and the girls were rejecting him almost instantly. You could see it on their faces that he was turning them off with his humor, which I think that it was kind of weird humor, the parts they showed, but also you have to realize that like there's so much to communication, which is like facial expression and like tone of voice and like movement, and all of that goes into something. So obviously a questionable joke could totally fall flat when you can't even see the person and you don't know the person and there's no context to it, right? So that's a little, I don't know if that's what it was. I don't know if it was more editing, but it looked like they were like rejecting him almost immediately. And then he kind of was like, I have a good energetic connection with Irina. And he opened up about his backstory. And I was like, huh. And then she had a similar-esque it's very different, but similar-esque type backstory. And I was surprised. Again, it could have been editing, but like, it feels like, well, this Zach kid actually has a bit of an intuitive side. And I think that there might be a little more to him than originally I gave him credit for, and that could develop. I don't know that Irina is going to be the person. I don't know who he's going to pick. Obviously, it's episode 1, but it seems like he's going between Bliss and Irina. And when I first saw him open up to Irina, I was like, yes, do this, yes. But then when I saw him talking to Bliss, I was like, this is a legitimate connection also. And I think that of the two, he seems more long-term compatible with Bliss. She seems softer. And what I mean by that is like, this is like, I am not a soft person. I am now, like with my children. But if you ask people, I am not a soft person. I give very tough, like straight to the point kind of, it can come off as cold, even though it comes from a warm place, advice and opinions, and it is who I am. So if you are somebody who needs that softened, I am not somebody you necessarily want to come to and talk to. And I get those same vibes from Irina. So it's not ugly to say it. I don't think she's soft enough. And I think that in the longer run, it's going to be him who needs somebody who can soften those blows and almost like, you know, make us a more gentle place to figure out his shit, honestly. And I think that that's Bliss. I don't know who he's gonna pick, but I think he's the person who changes his mind, so we will keep our eye on that. This is only episode 1. I am truly excited. Amber does not get home from work until later because of her schedule today, which means I don't think we're gonna be watching episode 2 yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm hoping to get it done this weekend or in the next couple of days. It's so good to be back with you guys. I am so excited. Are you excited? Are you loving this season? Did you like the last 2 seasons? Tell me. Who were your people that you liked from them? We'll talk about that. Have a good day.